Some of you know we lived in South Korea for a few years, 4 years, and I pastored a church in South Korea. And when I went over, they were in the middle of preaching through the book of Galatians. It's really interesting. And so I came in and I started to preach through Galatians. And there was a guy in our congregation, and he was meeting with another guy in our congregation, a guy who was not as strong in his faith or his knowledge or his understanding of things. And he was actually telling this guy, listen, man, if you really want to be a Christian, you need to keep the dietary laws. Those are still in effect. Those are still present. You need to keep the dietary laws. And he was saying there's other parts of the law that you need to keep. And then he started to accuse me of being antinomian, against the law, and anti-Semitic. And I thought, how crazy is this that I show up and we're in Galatians and God so graciously just drops a Judaizer right in the middle of our congregation. And so we met and we sat down and I asked him what he was doing and he shared with me his thoughts about things. And I looked at him and I said, listen, here's the deal. You have two options. One is you can shut your mouth and keep coming and learn. The other is you can leave. Because what you're doing, especially with this individual, and what you will do, is you're undermining the reality of the gospel. You're undermining the truth of the gospel. You are a living example of what Paul is proclaiming and preaching against here in this text. Now, I wasn't mean. Don't hear me. It sounded harsh, didn't it? Yeah, I pulled out a gun and I was like, you can shut up or leave, buddy. Town ain't big enough for the both of us. But I was straightforward with him. I said, you're welcome to stay, but your mouth needs to be shut if you're going to stay and listen. But if you can't do that, then you need to leave. But this is the reality of what Paul's getting at with Titus here. Titus, these aren't small issues, he says. This isn't some insignificant thing. This gets to the very heart and the reality of what the gospel is.